Alright, what's
Alright,
up, guys? I think we're live right now. Coming to you guys from all the way from Michigan. We got a couple Michigan buddies in here. We'll let them introduce themselves. My name's Ethan. I'm from Michigan String Ups. As you guys can tell, I am one of the two from Michigan. We're trying to get Christian still in here. He's having some technical difficulties, but we'll try to figure it out for you guys so we can get this started. You guys can go ahead and introduce yourselves, and we'll get this thing on the road.
You
alright,
can go
cool.
next.
Alright, I'll go. You want me to go first? Okay. I'm Nick from Clearwater Customs. Only person from Florida. Yay. Just gonna be just talking about stuff and reviewing the new Epoch Hawk. So.
Alright guys, I'm Luke from String Cannon. I also am from Michigan. I'm only like 30 minutes away from Ethan. So, yeah, let's get this thing started.
Alright. So do you want to just start off with the Hawk, Ethan?
Alright, well, we have done a couple different things with the Hawk. People have tried different pockets. As you guys can tell, the 382 crew has gotten their gifts. They've gotten their stuff from Epic. Those lucky little bastards. That being said, I mean, I can't be bitter. I got one myself. I just ended up buying one, and honestly, it was worth it. I guess as a first note, the first thing you're gonna notice about the Hawk, at least the first thing I noticed, was the strange sidewalls. So, if you guys take your Hawk, if you have one, and you're looking at your Hawk right now, you have this weird canted sidewall that goes up as you get down the throat instead of the opposite. Now, when you're thinking about stringing a Hawk, they talked about how the Hawk utilizes the high and mid pockets. And the reason being is that when you guys see heads, if I'm to bring up, let's see, if I'm to get a Surgeon 10 here, and you guys see this sidewall, you see how that offset is different. It starts curving down the opposite direction, where the
Yeah.
Hawk, it goes the opposite way. Now,
Mhm.
reason being is that in the Hawk, they are trying to get you guys to have the best opportunity for a mid-high, or high pocket. Now, when you string a Hawk, something to keep in mind is that because they have done this, you have this weird uneven area back here that you guys are not used to stringing. Now, when I was stringing my Hawk, it's very, very, very easy to get an illegal pocket if you make it too low. Because of where the sidewall is placed and because of how the rules work, when the ball sits down lower in your pocket, it becomes illegal. Where if it sits up here, you have that sidewall that comes down, which will allow you to get a higher pocket. That's the reason why they did that. That is the reason why the sidewall is strange. However, when you are using a Hawk for different things, when you're using it for face-offs and using it for a shooter, it really does come in handy. I put up a video earlier on the flex test on a Hawk, and I was really liking how this sidewall worked because it actually gets rid of your flex point. Your flex point comes from the top of the head all the way down to the bottom of the throat. So if I flex my
This whole
Hawk
head has it.
for you guys, it goes all the way down the entire head instead of having a point where it flexes, which is very interesting, very different. I think it's a good
A
thing
lot
that
like
Epic
the
did something like this, and it really will hold up. So, if you guys want to add in anything, that was my quick recap of what I did in my video earlier.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, what you said. What I compared the Hawk to was a lot like the Rabel. My friend has a broken-in Rabel X. And when you like Rabels, they do like the weird thing where they don't have the flex point, but it's just kind of the flex all over the head. So that's kind of what I connected my Hawk to at first. Again, like what Ethan said, this is geared towards mid, high, and high pockets. Achieving anything lower will probably not go as well, especially because of the sidewall. Yeah, so that's pretty much. I mean, I do like the Hawk so far. I really do. It is a bit awkward, but I mean, it is college legal, correct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's
Okay.
universal.
Yeah. So, I think why they have this weird like little bump right here, and why this is geared toward mid-high pockets is to give you like the mid-high, but like like the attributes of a mid-high, but like without utilizing whip and stuff. I think
For
I have
depth
that
too, right?
kind of. Do you want to hop in on it, Luke?
Yeah, like they were saying, the Hawk is really the modern lacrosse head for a person. Personally, I didn't get one because I do not like high pockets or mid highs. I use more of a low, so I really didn't really want to spend the money on it. But I think it's pretty cool what Epic is doing. They're just not ripping off another head or just making a generic head. They're trying something new, which is cool to see. So yeah.
Yeah, I like it too. I was gonna say, yeah, I think the only reason this head is, I mean, I just feel like it's just kind of this head just kind of shows where the lacrosse community is today, and I kind of, in a way, it's not his fault, but I think this all, I mean, it's not like bad, but I think this all happened because of Greg from East Coast Eyes, who loves the high pocket, and every little kid who doesn't really know much about lacrosse is going straight to East Coast using two a high pocket and two U's and stuff like that. So the whole lacrosse community's just kind of been geared around the high pocket. So I think that's what they're trying to nail.
Yeah, so like I agree that Greg he did have an impact because it really last year everyone really started using the Lakota with the high pocket and East Coast mesh, but I think the Hawks really just gaining popularity because it's different and this 382 crew thing that they've been doing with their new test team. So a lot of people have been talking up about it, saying good things about it.
Yeah, I feel like I know Luke feels this way too, that maybe we haven't gotten like a real review, like a real unbiased review,
Yeah,
because there's a lot of kids on the 382 crew who are just kind of they're just happy to be a part of it, and they're like, oh yeah, Epic is the best. This is the best head I've ever used,
which is
and they're
why I
just kind
liked
of,
Ethan's review about it.
yeah.
I actually bought my Hawk. I was not part of 382 crew, so I did my review. I got a nice comment from Epic actually, and they shared my video, so that was very kind of them. But yeah, I agree with what you guys are saying. I mean, the 382 crew does lend some good knowledge. I think they did pick a good wide range of people to test their product. That being said, I do think that their opinions are biased. Mostly being because they are getting a free head. I mean, they're getting a free head, they're getting a free piece of mesh. Um, that is quite expensive when you put it together. So I think that play into how they react when they're testing out their equipment. But there are things that can be said about how the Hawk performs. I was talking about before how the flex goes down the entire head. I think Nick related the Hawk to a Rabel. When I first looked at it, I thought of a Blade Pro X6 actually.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah, I
that.
has
have
a
one
has a
right
very
here.
tight throat across the entire head, and then flares very very aggressively towards the top. That's what it reminded me of, which is why I actually wanted to try it for face-offs. I thought it was going to be an interesting face-off head. They also did a nice job with how their sidewalls at the top are actually wider than the sidewalls in the middle, very, very slightly. So if you take a look at your head, they actually flare it in a little bit, kind of like how the OG had their flare, how someone
Yeah,
like Reason
that's what
Pro
I kind
had
of.
their flare. Those kind of aspects when you look at a head are very beneficial to a guy who is playing in any position. Really, it really does utilize the head and its plastic to its finest, which is why I actually liked this more than a Blade Pro when I started trying my face-off stuff, because the Blade Pro does not have those same aspects. It doesn't have the sidewall um, that actually helps the flex point. It doesn't have the same flare on the inside. The sidewalls are very flat when you come down from the face.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a Blade Pro right here too. So yeah, you can just kind of see like the differences and similarities. Like they both have like the same kind of pinch right up here.
Basically
Um
an X-Spec Blade Pro, what it looks like.
Yeah, it's the BPX6.
yeah, in a way. Yeah. So I'm gonna get into what they could have done to make this better. Um So when I was stringing the Hawk, I know I didn't have. I mean, I did. I know I wasn't the only one to have trouble with top string holes. Um, because I use a double triangle top. So does high string lacrosse, and a lot of other people do. And not even Riley was able to achieve it, and I was barely able to. I had to push it through with scissors. So
Yeah, it's not fun.
yeah, not fun at all. It was awful.
Yeah, hey, finally.
Christian.
Hey,
Yes,
Christian got
there
it.
we go.
Jesus, that took forever.
You in, buddy? What's up?
Oh, man.
So yeah. Anyway, so the triangle, the top string holes could have been slightly larger. That would have been great.
I heard people are having trouble fitting leathers in their hawks to string
Yeah,
fit.
the bottom string holes. I'm not good at trad stringing.
I'm the only
so
one here without a hawk.
Oh, you're not alone. I don't
Luke
have
doesn't have one.
Hey, but you know what I do have? You know what I do have? You know what I do have?
What?
a Nazi.
I have more heads than you do.
Oh, no, that's a challenge. That is a challenge. Christian, later, I'm gonna challenge you to that.
Alright, man.
The bottom string holes could have been a bit bigger. I'm not a big trad stringer, so I didn't really have any trouble with the fitting the cup shooters in because I put Otter Mesh on mine. So yeah, I didn't really have much trouble with the bottom shooter, but I'm assuming that if you wanted leather, you'd probably have to cut it to a point, so you could fit it in the bottom. I don't know. That's just me. I'm not good at trad stringing. That's more of like a question for Ethan or Christian.
I mean, as far as traditionals go, every head has that problem. Basically, I don't think there's a single head I've found where it's easy to fit leathers through. There are some that come to mind right away, but for the most part, heads will have to use a teardrop bottom. That's also because I use Minlax leathers, which are just generally more like just a bigger leather than like your Gymlax or Stringer's Check.
Well, dude, Minlax is quality. I am digging these leathers.
Yeah, I enjoy Minlax. I think they do a really good job with their products. And I think Brian does a really good job of like making products that are like reasonably priced, and that are high quality.
Yeah, these are I'm really digging these. I'm assuming that I'd be very like fond of these if I was a trad stringer. Want to learn how to do it, but okay. So, Christian, do you want to share your thoughts on the Hawk or anything? Really?
Well, I don't have one on me, but I've seen a few things about it. I don't like the sidewall shape. Oh my God, who is that? Oh, it's my little brother. This is my little brother, Jason.
Maybe
Anyway.
you.
No, not even close. Anyways, Jason, stop. Some things on the Jason, what did I just say?
Dodge, dude.
The sidewall, like a lot of people were commenting on Ethan's photo about it, saying that they liked the pocket placement and how it looked, which I agreed. It was a damn good looking pocket. But that's probably the one complaint I do have. I know they were trying to aim for a mid-high pocket placement, so like I have the Optic right here, so they wanted a mid-low placement because you can see where the sidewall kind of peaks and where
the Hawk does that too.
right
like
about
right
here,
on here, this little
except
bump.
on the top. Yeah, it's kind of like a Lakota. Hey.
Hi!
Oh my God.
Welcome to the family! Get over here. Get over here, boys.
Oh yeah, Ethan, this is my sister. This is the one I was talking about.
Stop.
Hi.
Is he my age? Is he single? Is he a girlfriend?
He has a girlfriend. She's hotter than you.
Huh? He's
What?
hard.
His
Shut
girlfriend's hotter. Go away. I hate my
Christian.
life.
Let's go to
I'm sorry, guys.
Oh.
I'm sorry. You know what? I'm gonna take this upstairs. I'll be right back.
Take that upstairs.
I'm taking my Optic with me.
Yeah.
Dude, this has got to be the most cool thing that I've ever seen.
Hey, baby! How you doing?
I hate my life. I hate my life. I hate my life.
Ethan,
What?
how many viewers are we at right now?
We're at 10, and then Christian's family came in. Now we're at 7. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're at 8.
Dude, Christian's family, then we got to this.
No, I was
Alright,
kidding. We're at 8 right now.
So where were we in? We were talking about the sidewall placement on the Hawk.
Yeah.
Ethan, tell me how difficult it was to string the Hawk.
I actually thought it was pretty easy. I didn't have any problems with it.
Like, were the holes weird?
I
shapes
used
and all
I used 20 millimeter mark mesh, and I was aiming for a bag. I was not aiming for a defined pocket, which I think gave my chances of stringing a successful pocket a lot higher than someone aiming to have like a defined like high pocket in it.
that? All right.
Stop it!
Jesus Christ!
Dude, lock door.
I did. I locked it. Okay.
I need to find this thing
Um,
about Robin
Block our
Wood.
den
Wow.
so anybody can come in. But yeah,
I mean,
other than
this
the
is just-
sidewall design, I kind of like the Hawk. It's different. It's got a different take on a lacrosse head. Kind of reminds me of a Blade Pro. I don't know how much the flex.
That's what I said earlier.
I haven't watched your video about it, Ethan, yet. Or I think Gary Grunt did one too on flex testing, but I haven't checked it out yet. But it looks like they're going to be coming out with different levels of flexibility.
Yeah, the Flex IQ. I read about
Yeah,
that.
except on the heads, which
Yeah,
I think is
all the
going to
ones
be
they
great.
released right now are Flex 5. This is what the
Flex
Flex
5?
looks like. It goes
So it's like the
it's
mid.
all the way down the head.
This is
Pretty-
like this one right now is
good.
probably good for like to middies, I'd say. Maybe pre-stackman. I'm not really sure. Definitely good for middies because it's perfect in the middle. 1 being like great for Fogos, and a 10 being good for like close D.
Now, Ethan, how much flexier do you think your Hawk got after you boiled it?
Oh, a lot. It was really stiff before I boiled it.
Pretty much any head's like that. If you boil it before you start flexing it around, it just softens up a lot.
Yeah, there was like a decent amount of flex, but there was no way I was gonna be able to touch like sidewall to sidewall
Yeah.
without boiling before.
Yeah, I'm curious to see on how they're gonna do the flex level thing. Like I can't see them doing like 10 different flex heads. I think they'll probably spread it out.
No, they're probably going to do about 2, like they did with the Dragonfly.
One thing,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
guys, one thing that I saw, I think this is extremely like not stupid, but I think it was just a mess up on Epic's part. The Hawk, in their Dragonfly shafts don't match up the holes. Which
Really?
only make like,
Ooh,
That's hilarious.
really?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all.
I mean, because when I was at Lack Shop, when I put the Hawk on the thing, there was a nail in it, and it just kind of sat on the nail. I was like, oh, I still have some space to go, so it'll probably slide right over the hole. And when I got back to my hotel, there was like, it doesn't like match up, which make it
That's funny.
just stupid. And I don't know where my drill is, so I can't put any new.
and a lot of people don't really
Which
feel
makes me
comfortable with drilling in a belly.
Yeah, I don't know, like I had I was gonna do like an all white stick, and I did, and it was it's a Warrior composite on a CEO, and the holes didn't match up, and it was like the cheapest, like the best quality, cheapest one I could find, and I gave it to Plague. I'm like, can you just drill this for me? And like, yeah, sure, and they like threw it around and drilled it like really weird, and it didn't crack the shaft, but
Yeah, that's another thing. The Dragonfly holes are, I think, kind of poorly placed because I had to drill, I think, like no heads matched up with anything I had.
yeah,
So I had to drill a new hole. I was kind of a little worried when I was doing it because I don't know, all the stuff that goes into a Dragonfly. I didn't know if that would mess it up or if I would, you know what I mean?
yeah, I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much goes for all shafts. I mean, the Dragonfly definitely does it the worst, but I mean, I've had trouble on almost every single shaft I've owned
Yeah.
with fitting heads on it. So
What do you guys think about Otter Mesh? What are your opinions on that?
I've got some on mine right now. I don't know. I'll let Ethan. You've used Otter Mesh before. Anybody here use Otter Mesh other than me?
Yeah, I did my
I've used it
review,
once.
I have
I did my review 2 days ago.
Okay, so I've been talking a lot, so I'll let you guys kind of chime in on
I don't
that.
know. I think Otter Mesh is fine. I don't think it's worth $40, but I think if you're gonna buy a quality piece of mesh, I mean, if you really want to, if you have that much extra money laying around, I mean, it's not a bad pickup. But I mean, the qualities that you get out of it are not worth the extra like $20 that you would spend on another piece of
I
mesh.
would rather
Oh,
just
my
go
I think if
String
you can
King.
buy
2 pieces of String King.
if you can buy 2 pieces of String King for $40, that's gonna last you a lot longer and do you a lot better than 1 piece of Otter Mesh.
Yeah,
I-
like
exactly.
yeah. Given the option, would y'all rather like spend $40 on Otter Mesh or $40?
No, absolutely not. I think that's the one major setback from Otter Mesh is that you really should not be spending more than $20 on a piece of mesh.
I know.
In my opinion, I've used the Otter Mesh once. I strung it up in a clutch and I played with it around for a little bit. The aspects of Otter Mesh are not that much more different than if you were to take OG String King and compare them side by side. Otter Mesh is just lighter. It's got the exact same its
I'm not
stringability.
I'm not willing, and I don't think a lot of other people are either, to pay an extra $20 just to get a couple ounces off your stick. I don't think that's really noticeable.
Yeah.
Not even ounces. It's like grams.
I heard it was
No.
half the weight of
Their shrinking is like 1.2, and then Otter's 0.6, according to Dylan.
So yeah, that's like half an ounce.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, but
I don't think it's worth the extra $20 to be honest.
I mean, I don't know. I do like it. It's just I think, I mean, I know it's a 3 on the scale, but like given like how thin and light it is, it just seems softer than String King 1S.
I think
Really?
that's how thin it is.
I don't know. It's just my opinion, but like, I mean, I've String King 1S. I mean, like this just seems like a better face-off face-off mesh than String King 1S for some odd reason, just to me.
So I use String King. Oh,
Yeah.
my bad, Nick.
Oh,
Okay,
no,
so
was
I
letting you
used
go.
String King 1S. Oh, okay. Yeah, I used String King 1S on my NAS for the entire 2013 season. One big problem I did have is that no matter how pinched my actual NAS was, all in the back of my stick after the clamp. There are some people who can do it. I don't know how the hell they do it, but after I was using String King 1S, and like they said, String King 1S or String King and Otter Mesh are pretty much the same meshes. Like Otter Mesh is lighter. But the problem is versus String King and like wax meshes, the wax will actually help grip on the ball a lot better than regular String King. And I know it's a big
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, I know it's a big trade-off to have like super soft, String King versus not so soft wax mesh, but it'll definitely give you a lot more possessions because half the time the ball was on the ground and I had to go after, run after and pick it up, which is, that's kind of a hassle. Instead of being able to go Brendan Fowler on everybody and just pick it up in the back of your stick. I know Brendan Fowler uses String King now, but he doesn't have to follow NCAA rules anymore, so it's easier to play with with a high school stick. Because I'm using an X-Spec head, and it's really tough. You guys know how wide it is, especially with the Hawk. That thing being wide as hell.
Well, once you have it in person, like the Hawk, the outer looks somewhat wide, but as Ethan said, it like flares in a little bit.
Yeah.
Which adds a little pinch, but I was just chiming in. I don't really. So
yeah, I get what you mean.
It's kind of off topic, but then you play box, so I'm assuming you box pinched.
I play box.
No, Ethan.
Oh, okay,
No,
I
I
was
do.
about to say. No, I don't.
Well, I'm assuming you've box pinched the head before.
What did you say? Sorry.
I'm assuming you've box pinched a head before.
Yeah, I've done a couple.
I want to see what that's like on a Hawk. Or pinching it.
I don't know how that's because of how high the pinch is.
Only reason why I wouldn't do that is because of how the flare works. Because the throw is already so tight, and the flare is so high and aggressive on the top that it wouldn't really turn out very well as far as like making a good face shape.
Well, it would also kind of mess with the laid back profile thing where it juts out where the high pocket design is.
Right. Yeah. I don't think it would work very well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But back to the Otter Mesh. Oh wait, no, Christian, you were talking about um how like you didn't like String King for face-offs.
That can go both ways. If your school allows you to use high school spec heads, then I would totally use 1S on like say like a clutch or something like that, or a regular Blade Pro. But like I said, me being a Nas lover, I need to have that trade-off when I can be able to keep the ball in the back of my stick. So that's where I use my
I
own mesh.
understand what you mean, because like when you try and like go out like what Greg Grumley and them do, where
Yeah.
they clamp and they pull out like that. I know what you mean. It just kind of like slides from your stick.
Yeah, it slides right out. Doesn't grip well.
I get what you mean. I had that problem too. That's why I switched. That's why I put Ethan's mesh in mine, and I actually really like that. So, one question for Christian: did you use the how like on String King meshes they have the smooth side and the harder side?
Yeah.
Which one was facing like the back? Was the smoother side on the back or
I string all my sticks the same. There's always a rough side and a smooth side to the mesh, and I always have the rough side towards the face. So if I take my Optic here, I have the rough side facing you and the smooth side facing out.
Then that's definitely a mesh problem, because I know because that's how I string my sticks too.
Mm-hmm.
I know that like the coating that makes it like the smooth
mm-hmm.
is supposed to like grip the ball. So I don't know why that did it on face-offs other than X-Spec heads.
Now,
yeah.
Putting a piece of String King 1S and putting the rough side facing the back, so when you get a clamp on a face-off, technically that might help with gripping the ball.
I see what you're saying. But the problem is the amount of time I have the ball in the back of my stick versus when it's in the like the actual pocket of my stick. Yeah. That could go either way. That could backfire a lot. When you go to pass and catch and shoot. I would rather be able to have more ball control when it's in the stick, because I do flip it almost immediately.
Yeah.
But I just need it to get in the back of my stick first. But so that's why I use my own mesh when I face off now. That's why I made it. It's really, really soft. It's probably actually just a little bit harder than String King 1S after it's completely broken in. But it's still extremely soft. It pops back in really easily, and it's got that that semi-tacky waxed feel, so it grips the ball really well too. And I haven't had any problems with it so far. But like I said, String King's a great mesh. I probably wouldn't use it with an X-Spec head for face-offs.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Now, on a different note, you guys see today they announced that high schools now have to follow the shooting string.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty. Man,
I don't like that idea.
Pretty hard.
Kind of defeats the whole purpose of having 2 levels of lacrosse.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well just go straight to college lacrosse from 8th grade.
Might as well stop producing high school spec heads too.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before we started the broadcast. Was Luke asked, do you think that they're just gonna just like screw the high school spec heads?
I don't think so.
Universal heads all the way.
Because most of the MLL players use high school spec heads.
Yeah, I mean, this is highly unlikely, but after I get out of college, given the opportunity to go MLL, I would switch right back to high school, because the only reason I use
I would too, easy.
College legal is just in
for
case.
College right now, exactly.
Yeah. So I can get used to it, because I love whip, and I just have to get used to it. I mean, especially since U's are illegal now, which kind of.
Now, is that going to affect middle schools and?
No, I don't think
it's not going to affect club teams.
Leagues.
I'll tell you that, which is great.
Yeah, that's just because rec leagues is when you're just kind of not starting lacrosse, but
getting the fundamentals down.
Yeah, just playing around and stuff. I mean, high school and college, I I get college. I kind of understand high school, but if they made the like
See, the thing is, they can't. The NFHS league is monitored by well, no, I said that wrong. The high school league is monitored and regulated by the NFHS, which is the National Foundation of High Schools.
Yeah.
And that kind of runs the high school sports, and then they make the regulations for the high schools, and then NCAA is college, so forth. Youth leagues, rec leagues, and club teams, they make their own rules. None of them can really include and stuff like that. They can go with equipment requirements and stuff like that, but they can't go specifically into the player's gear because that's just a violation of because it's a club team. It's not like a whole foundation versus you're playing at a college level and a club team level. So I feel like it won't. You can still use it in club teams, but the problem is if you get used to that, if you're using use and you have a whole lot of whip versus when you go back to high school and you're playing with straights and maybe not so much hold, it's going to mess you up. So I'm glad I stick to straights. I play with 2 straights and a stacked nylon or 3 straights on the top of the scoop. I've been playing like that probably since middle school, and I think I used U's at one point in my life. I like them a lot, but when you face off, you need straights because if you have U's and you have the ball in the back of your stick, you tend to get caught a lot. Right. So I switched to sticks. I switched to straights when I started facing off, and I'm really glad I did because I don't have to worry about these new rules and stuff. Because last year I did have a feeling that they were going to get rid of this rule, and then that they were going to make it go to the full. So I kind of stuck with straights just in case, and so hold and behold, they changed the rules, and I bet you a lot of people are going to be pissed now.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, like everybody's like commenting on all our pictures, like, oh, this is stupid. And, I mean, I don't really care, to be honest, because I don't use. I mean, I'm just I kind of laughed a little bit.
I did.
Everybody's like, oh, use our life, dude, and I'm over here, and they can't use them anymore, and I'm just laughing because I've been using straights and getting used to them.
Now, I don't really see why people always get so upset because you can replicate a pocket that doesn't have a U compared to a pocket that does have U pretty easily just by the channel.
Tightening the channel.
If you get a good channel, like shooter setups doesn't matter.
Yeah. Like I've been using this for a while. I play by high school rules, but not college rules in my high school, and I use a superpower with.
I really wish I had a ball.
With 1 straight and a nylon, and the channel is pretty much everything that gives this pocket the hold, the width. The shooter and the nylon are basically just for the release of the stick.
Yeah, I might add a second one. I haven't really decided because I do like that snappy feel. But for now, this thing is pretty nice. I'm gonna try and tighten this nylon a bit.
The thing about use and straights, if you're a good stringer and you can work around and manipulate a pocket accordingly, the only difference that a U and a straight will give you is that a U generally has a smoother release versus a U will have a bit of a more snappy release if you add a nylon on top of it, which most pockets do. I rarely see any pockets with just 2 U's or 1 U without a nylon.
Yeah.
The thing I do is I put 2 shooters on the 10 diamond rows, and I put a stacked nylon on the 9 diamond row immediately after the top shooter. Like I'll show you on this Optic right here.
There we go.
You can see that black nylon right on top of the Carolina shooter. Mm-hmm. That kind of gives you the same feeling of having 2 U's and a nylon on top of that. It's got a very snappy feel to it, and it still provides a lot of hold, right, Ethan? Yeah, you see what I'm saying.
That's the same thing I got on mine right here.
Yeah.
I have that basically the same, except my nylon is on the 10 diamond row.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. That's all personal preference.
Yes,
I'm just saying that's how I do it.
Yeah.
Because I like a little bit more whip too.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think all of us went through the stage. I'm admitting to it now, where we all liked high pockets and we all loved use.
Oh, I always loved high pockets, but once you start facing, you can't use them.
Well, I know, but as beginners, not beginners now, but I pretty certain almost all of us have gone through that dude, high pockets are life stage. High pockets.
Yeah, I completely agree, and like Nick said earlier,
I'm always at that stage.
it does have to do with Greg from
Wait,
East
what?
Coast Guys a little bit, I think.
Yeah, that he started this epidemic, if you will.
I don't think it's his fault. I think he likes the high pocket because it's a quick release, but a lot of people like the high pocket just because Greg uses it, I feel like.
Oh, and same with the Lakota, and now with the burn.
Like, I was
you know,
actually, like, yeah, I was actually waiting for them to do that. Like, once he retired the Lakota, like, the entire lacrosse community is going to switch to a burn
to the
high
burn.
school spec. Watch.
Exactly.
All
And
all of them will.
But
I thought.
Here you
My
go.
bad. Like, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay, I do think the burn is a very good head, and I just think the Lakota is way overhyped. I don't think there's really anything special about it. I just think it's a normal head that.
Yeah, it looks like
color
kind
to
of
it.
just like an Eva, really.
Yeah, like it just basically it got popular because it had a cool neon yellow look to it, and a popular guy from East Coast Dies uses it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he could get the entire lacrosse community to do exactly what he wanted. We're just a bunch of robots, basically. I mean, we could be like, oh yeah, I don't use U's anymore. I use straights. The whole lacrosse community.
Yeah, nobody would use U's. See, he's at the advantage now because he can use U's because he's out of, he's playing clubs and whatever, and nobody else can use them unless they're playing club teams like Mad Lax and whatnot, Salt Shakers. But what I think about is Greg isn't intentionally trying to get people to switch because that doesn't benefit him at all.
Yeah.
But I feel like it is kind of a marketing technique.
Yeah.
Because they have so many followers and viewers and they're so popular and whatnot. I feel like secretly Warrior has been like bribing them to just
Yeah, the Lakota
kind of switch favorites in the head.
Nike Lacrosse gained a lot of publicity.
Popularity through East Coast Dies.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think they would be as big as they are today if it wasn't for Greg using the Lakota.
Yeah. And the thing about a Lakota is, like Nick and you guys said, it's a pretty head. It is easy to string, and it does have a specific high pocket placement. But to be honest, in my opinion, it's not that great.
Offset is so weird.
It is weird.
I have one, right? I mean, like before I didn't know much about offset. I don't really know. It just seemed weird to me.
Ethan, what's your input on the burn?
On the burn, I like the burn, but I don't know. I think that I didn't really string a mesh pocket in mine. I did a trad.
Oh, that's right. You did a traddy.
As far as like traditional stringing goes, I think it's really up to whoever strings it. You have people stringing traditional pockets in STX profiles that are like $20, and you have people doing great pockets that are like being strung into sticks that are complete shit. It's really up to whoever strings it. As far as mesh go, it's a little bit more reliant on the stick itself, just because of how you are connecting your mesh to the sidewall holes. I think that it does play a part in how your stick strings. As far as something like, I don't know, like again going back to the Hawk, the only thing I don't like is that you are not able to get different pockets in this head. I mean, you take like a Lakota and you take a burn, and the reason that they are popular and they're good heads is because you can string a high pocket, you can string a mid pocket, you can string a low pocket. You can put that pocket wherever you want, or in a Hawk, you don't get that luxury. I mean, it's basically set for you. There is no ability to make a lower pocket without it being just either completely ugly and unplayable or completely illegal because of how that sidewall comes up.
I totally agree.
I just don't. That's my only complaint about the Hawk. It's not a versatile head as far as like a stringing standpoint goes.
Yeah, I like the Hawk and how they're doing new things, but I'm not gonna buy one that I don't like high pockets. I use low pockets. I one-hand cradle. I think that a lot of people will agree with me that they're not getting the head just because you can't string the pocket you want, which is kind of unheard of in all the heads out there.
No,
but I mean,
sure, eventually put a pocket, but like Ethan said, it's going to be completely hideous and it might feel weird.
If it performs, then that's all that matters.
Like I was
Yeah,
this
yeah,
pocket
but
right here. My pocket, like if we were being technical here, the stack right here to give it the pocket is really supposed to sit right about there. And if I didn't like pull this bottom string all the way down, it would have been like illegal. I have like the mesh is like touching the bottom of the
oh,
head.
and one more thing about the Hawk is the fact that there's no offset whatsoever. So it pretty much is Blade Pro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Blade
If
Pro
they
has
did that,
no
be specifically for the flex on the Dragonfly, because when the Dragonfly does drop back when you shoot, if you have too much, offset, the stick will lose whip and it'll become less powerful. Versus when you have no
are you
offset,
talking about how when you're going to shoot, the head just
yeah.
kind of like pulls back a little bit?
Yeah, so if you already
This
have too
head,
much
I was
offset, which is kind of like it pulling back for itself, which kind of makes up for the fact if it's a metal shaft, it doesn't bend. But when you have a carbon fiber shaft, it's bending. So the fact that there's no offset will kind of simulate that of a metal shaft with offset. If you put an offset head on a carbon fiber shaft, you feel a little bit more time before the release, and some people like that. Like I like that. I don't like a very very quick release on the shot. I like to really crank up and get some power. Um, so I play with an offset head, which is the Nas, and I put
yeah.
a lot of hold and a lot of whip on that, so you can crank up a lot of power, but at the same time you're not sacrificing shot speed and quickness.
You
Now,
know what? The Nas is like a less aggressive Lakota, kind of, and just like lower, like the
yeah, it
Lakota
is.
offset,
Um,
right?
my favorite head of all
So many
time,
heads, right?
when it comes to stringing and overall play, is probably the clutch. Um, Like I said, it's not really
Yeah,
aimed for a
clutch
specific
is pretty
pocket
nice.
placement. It's got a lot of holes. It's very versatile. I've seen defenders use it. I've seen LSMs use it. I've seen attackmen use it, and plenty of middies use it. Like I said, again, it's extremely easy to string. You can string it well traditionally. You can string it well in mesh, and there's a good amount of offset there. So it's usually aimed for metal shafts. But like I said, you can put it on a carbon fiber shaft, no problems. Um, but the best part about the clutch is its, like I said, its versatility with stringing and play. So you can manipulate the head to your your position, and how you like to play. Your style of play. What do you like to feel? How much whip? How much hold you want? I've put 4 different pockets in a clutch before. I've put a low, mid-low, mid, and a high, like a super high pocket. That was my gamer for the longest time. Clutch Elite high school spec, and I had 2 U's and a nylon on there, and it
Exactly.
had the highest pocket in the world. It had so much hold, and it didn't have that much whip, which is great. And I was using Ethan's mesh on that when he first started making it. He sent me a
Oh, I
piece
remember that.
way back when, and it was probably one of my favorite heads to use. And eventually the head broke on me, and I figured out I wanted to start facing off. So, I got into the Nas, and the only thing I do not like about the Nas is, and I'm pretty sure everybody in existence will agree with me, is that the fact that there were absolutely no stringing holes. And if you ever try to string an OG blade, it's pretty much the same way, actually. I think the sidewall holes are in the exact same place as the OG blade.
You know,
So I do have a pretty set pattern for it. I believe the Nas is half an ounce heavier.
yeah, that's what I was
Um,
gonna say.
yeah, and I don't know how much more flex it has versus the hollow Nas.
I
I'm
mean,
hoping that it is the same.
because the reason the Nas has so few holes is because
It's because it's hollow.
of the nitrogen inside it. Is if like
Yeah, it would
people
break
went
too easily
during
if
the
it had
prototype
more holes.
stages, I know they shattered. I think
Yeah.
Christian has a prototype Nas
Yeah.
without the top sidebar right here.
Yeah, but it
And I
still
think
has
that's
the
why
same
they
amount of
added it
sidewall
to.
holes. I think it has one extra.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking if the Nas solid is obviously if it's solid, they're taking out all the nitrogen inside of it. I think that it's just going to be a pretty generic head.
Yeah, it's gonna be more
And they
versatile.
can probably put a little more sidewall holes on it.
I saw a picture from Warrior
And
when
if
they
they do,
first posted about it.
I'm not talking about like the Nas's back or something like that.
Yeah. Luke,
I know Burry has one.
it had a solid, I think, 12 to 13 sidewall holes. They're in pretty much the same spacing as the Blade Pro too. But the only trade-off I'm thinking about is the weight and the flexibility, like I said, for face-off guys.
You can also boil it, so.
Yeah, you can boil it, but still, it's not the same as having a hollow head because the hollowness does affect how it flexes, and a lot of people don't like that because it does dent, it does pinch, and it does dimple a lot.
Like collapses on itself.
But the thing about the NAS is that it doesn't break, which is really cool. As much as the plastic looks like it's getting fucked up, it doesn't break.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like I've seen a lot of like this was a while ago, but I've seen a lot where they've had problems of them breaking right here. Here, let me get closer. Right around here, right in this little area right here.
Yeah, actually, I did have a
right
NAS that broke there, but that was from a check. It wasn't from facing off. My friend Max Krumlick did have a problem towards the bottom of the head, and it did eventually crack. Yeah, where your hand is right there. It did eventually crack, but that was after like a bajillion face-offs, and that would happen to any head.
I've seen a lot of posts about how they chip right here, right under the little NAS logo.
And that's more for the colored NASs too.
Yeah, I mean, for sure the durability is insane, but I mean, like once they crack, it's not really like in different places. It always happens in like the same area, like right
it's like
here.
the clutch curse on the clutch where it always broke on the bottom holes.
Yeah.
And then
they always break there.
Blade Pros break like down here.
Yeah, mine snapped on the bottom sidewall.
Yeah, they always do. And like I know James from Pocket Power, he was actually stringing traditional. I think is how it happened.
And he broke his head. Yeah, I saw that.
And he pulled the string and it broke his head. So I don't really know about the durability.
This is kind of off topic here, but back to the Hawk. I really like how they're doing the flex IQ because I know a lot of defenders that prefer a pinched head compared to a wide head. And
yeah.
With pinched heads, most of the time the durability isn't always there, like a Hammer or Revo 3 where they're like super stiff, and a pinched head most of the time isn't as stiff as those. I like how the Hawk is like having you be a defensive player with a pinched head, but still have the stiffness of a Revo 3 or something.
Yeah, like I had a couple of defender friends who used Surgeon.
Yeah.
As,
I know LSMs are pretty fond of Surgeons since they have like a good pinch for going upfield, but are still stiff.
One of my friends was using the Surgeon on defense and used it the whole season, but by the end it was just completely beaten. It was pinched in. You couldn't even fit a ball in there. Warped. But I like how the Hawk is gonna possibly change that aspect.
I feel that if the Surgeon high school spec was like flexible, like a Blade Pro or a NAS, it'd be an extremely lethal face-off head.
Oh yeah, I tried boiling one before and I thought it'd be great, but it didn't work. It just went back to being
it's because of the technology they use.
Yeah.
I know you can make it wider, or you told me this, Christian. I know you can make it wider or
more pinched.
More pinched, but you can't make it more flexy.
Yeah, you can't make it. There's an exception to certain heads like the NAS and the clutch and whatnot. Once you boil it, the plastic becomes more hydrated and becomes softer. But yeah, like you said, the plastic that the Surgeon is made of, the ACP and all climate performance technology, it doesn't allow it to become softer, which is why it's really great for
That's
tackling.
the point. It's all climate, so you throw it in boiling water. I mean,
and it doesn't do a thing. Yeah, which I think is good and bad. I mean, it was made specifically for attackmen, so they wanted that aspect of it to stay stiff, which I think is great.
Yeah, I really like it too because
I like using flexi heads on attack. I don't really see the difference since you're not playing much defense unless you're riding. But
the thing about stiff and flexible heads is that when you have a flexible head, if you ever like take the scoop of your Hawk, Nick, and hold it in one hand and push the scoop back away. Hold it like there and then push it back on the scoop. So do you see how it kind of flexes a little bit?
Yeah, to the right and left.
Yeah. So if you take that,
so is that?
I mean, it has more to do with release speed. When you have a stiffer head, it kind of guides the ball with the stiffness of the head, versus when you have a flexible head, the ball kind of guides with the head, so it's going which way and not. But when you have a stiff head, it's always going to go in the same spot. If you ever try shooting with the surgeon and then you try shooting with a worn-out clutch, you'll know what I mean, because you can feel the flex like as you're shooting, and it's really weird. So that's why attackmen like it more, because they're usually working, the tiptoeing on crease, and they like, really fast finishes. They like to get the ball quickly out of the stick, fast passes and whatnot. So that's why a lot of attackmen like using stiff heads. Now, I do know a few attackmen that do like really flexible heads. I have a friend who uses a Ghost 7 as his head, and he plays attack, and I think he's the craziest man in the world. But he scores goals.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't mean like I'm not. I mean, I don't like stiff heads like a surgeon, but I don't like a Tribe 7. I mean, I'd use like Nazis.
Yeah, that's too much.
When you get them, are extremely stiff, but once they break in, like they're just
perfect.
Like,
now I'm an attackman, and the type of head I really like. Everyone always thinks I'm crazy, but I love the Evo X. And
the Evo X is perfect. Yeah.
I'm actually as well.
I would choose the Evo Light X.
Christian, I'm gonna send you a text.
I'm a crease attackman, and I love how it's really wide, but the plastic is very nice. It holds up very well. I've used a lot of Evo X's. I've owned too many to count, and they all hold up very well.
Yeah, they're cheap too.
Yeah, you can find them on eBay for like $30.
Yeah.
Christian, I'm gonna kick you something because I'm not gonna say it over this.
Oh, go ahead.
The secret.
So yeah, moving on to a new head. What do you guys think about the Optic?
I have yet to try it.
Really?
But
you know that giveaway that Jay Walters
yeah, Jay Walters
did? My friend actually won that, and I restrung it.
That's cool.
And I wasn't able to get the exact pocket I was looking for on it, but what he wanted was a mid pocket, or mid to mid high, and
it's difficult,
tight channel, but you can't really get that because that little peak the sidewall does right when you're about to go to the bottom of the head.
It's got about the same as it actually. It does kind of peak off at the same point as the Nas does. It just has more holes. Honestly, in my opinion, I think the holes are placed perfectly to get that mid-low pocket. The only complaint I do have is the tiny little top string holes that they made. Now, I do kind of see why they did that. It keeps it nice and tight, and it doesn't allow it to move around a lot. But when if you're a guy that likes to wrap it around a lot in the first hole, like I know Riley does from high school lacrosse.
Yeah, the excessive loops or whatever.
Yeah. It keeps it super tight, but you can't do that with these holes because they're so freaking tiny.
Yeah.
But let's see, the pattern I've got on this head is a tie third, skip, SI, skip, SI, skip, SI, SI, 1, SI, SI, skip, SI, skip, off. That gives you a perfect mid-low pocket, as you can see here. Pretty medium channel. I wouldn't say tight, I wouldn't say loose, but it's perfect enough so it doesn't hook on the ball a lot.
Goldilocks.
No, really, I just kind of went with it as I went down.
Ethan, what are your thoughts on the Optic?
Wait,
what are your thoughts on the Optic, Ethan?
I haven't tried one yet. I haven't even gotten my hands on one.
So you can get a Hawk, but you haven't had an Optic.
Yeah, I know. Well, I got a Hawk pretty cheap, so I wasn't gonna pass it up. I couldn't find an Optic yet.
Yeah, C2 strings. I don't know what he's doing, but I mean, he's got the freaking Hawk for $60.
Yeah, I don't know how he's doing that.
I mean, unless
Now,
he's
I do think
saying we are.
Epic screwed up with their pricing on the
Yeah, I mean, honestly, because, you know, every
Hawk.
382
The
crew
Optic
member
are
is
priced
talking
at
about how it's
$85.
so worth the price, but I don't really I don't really think it is. I think it's
I
more
think
like
it's
of a
worth the
75
price.
to 85.
I think it's worth the price if you're really you really like that mid-high pocket, and
Yeah.
that's what your preferences are. But I'd say, like, just like Otter Mesh, it's expensive because what goes into the head, but the benefits aren't very
Oh,
great. Like
yeah, I'll
Otter
let you
Mesh,
finish, but I'll let you
Otter
finish.
Mesh.
I'll
You go ahead.
explain.
You go ahead.
Oh, okay. So what I was saying about we were talking earlier about Otter Mesh, and everybody like gave their opinion, but I didn't really get to chime in on it. So, Otter Mesh, I like everybody said they don't think it's really worth the price. And I don't think it's worth the price either. I do like it and enjoy it, but I don't think it's like worth $40. Another thing, isn't it made out of stuff they use in the military?
Yeah, it's like apparently Air Force grade, like nylon.
I also
Yeah,
heard a bad
that
thing about it though.
that again doesn't make sense because if it was military grade, I'm pretty sure the entire U.S. military wouldn't be brought down by a sidewall string. This it I you know I'm pretty sure you guys know who that Kiwi guy is or whatever.
Yeah, I've
That
heard.
Kiwi guy, yeah, New Zealand.
Yeah, he I was looking through his profile and he was restringing one of his players' stick with Otter Mesh and he was using sidewall and the mesh looked relatively new, but it had ripped these 3 diamonds that my shooter's over just completely ripped. I mean, I understand why String King uses it, and that's because theirs is quote unquote not like, I mean, it's not weak, but I mean, it just can't withstand it. But I
Yeah,
just don't
because it's abrasive.
yeah. I just like, I mean, if they're using stuff that they use in the military, why does like sidewall rip it?
See, I used String King 1S, and I did have a sidewall bottom string. I put it on the 10 diamond row, but I had it on through the 8 diamonds. And I didn't have any problems with tearing, even though I do hear a lot about the String King tearing with nylon bottom
And
strings, which is why
that's
they provide
mostly
a
with
shooter
people
bottom
who
string.
like never change their mesh.
Yeah.
Like they use it for like 8 months, like 10 months on end. They're like, oh, my mesh ripped. I don't know why. Well, if you've been using it nonstop for 10 months, I mean, with a sidewall string, and that's not even what you're supposed to use. So
I mean, yeah, people use nylons, but I kind of prefer the shooting string and the bottom string,
yeah,
honestly.
they're actually really nice too. Like they're perfect.
They do have different feels. Shooting
Like
strings will give you a little bit more rebound when you catch. It does stretch a lot more than a nylon will.
Yeah.
Personally, I like the nylon bottom strings because they're a little bit more tighter and they don't really
yeah,
allow your pocket to bag out when it gets wet. And they don't shift around too much, which is why I like it. But I do know a lot of people do use shooter bottom strings. Like Paul Rabel, for example, uses a shooter bottom string, which is all personal preference. But like I said, I like the nylon bottom strings. I pretty much use them on all my heads. Here on the Optic, I have the shooting string, or I'm sorry, the nylon going through the 8 diamond rows on the 10 diamond row, but it's weaved through. A lot of people use. I know Mark Matthews does that. It gives it a really nice balance to it. It doesn't bunch the mesh up too much on the bottom, and it just looks really nice and it cleans out and it keeps it really tight.
I think I did like a variation of it with Ethan's mesh. On my NOS, like I pulled it down as tight as I could. Because with the NOS, I mean, I know it sounds crazy because it's kind of hard to get like nice pockets on them, but my NOS was like illegal for a long time. And
I've never had an illegal pocket on NOS before.
yeah, I don't know how mine did, but it did, and that was for Chris. He told me
I
to
still
when I
haven't
get
I
this
still haven't
message,
looked at
make
it.
a
Hold on,
loud
give me a
noise.
second.
Ethan, do we have a Q&A chat?
Yeah, it's open.
Has anyone been asking anything?
Only TJ from Stick Therapy.
What's he saying?
He says, why do you think Wolf Athletics is giving out 75% codes if you email them? Do you think their
And the
shaft is
shaft,
poop?
TJ.
I don't know
Do
if that's
they,
true or not because I emailed them and I didn't get anything back.
I emailed them a while ago. I didn't pay for this.
I like that they're like trying something new, like Epic, with like a different material, but it's almost too much flex. What I've heard.
It is.
Like,
TJ, if you're watching this, I can legit flex this over my knee.
yeah, he has one of them. The only thing is that the flex, there's nothing wrong with the flex, like it being flexible, but the thing is that the flex is side to side, not forward to back, so it messes up your
lose
passing and
accuracy.
shooting.
What do you think of the what I sent you, Christian?
I'm honestly not a fan of Evo X's, but I will probably. Oh, oops.
It's right. It's right. It's
But
alright.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll grab some. I can probably just fancy them up and sell them, but I don't use them.
I just really want to try a Mark Matthews in them.
Oh yeah, like the Mark Matthews replica on an Evil Light X.
Oh,
I did that
I
twice.
rocked that for most of the summer with Ethan's mesh in there.
How'd that go? How'd that go?
It went really well. The channel was a little bit tight, so it snagged, and the mesh being so soft kind of didn't help that. It snagged a little, but I took out the shooter and the 4 shooters. I only had 1 nylon and 1 shooter, with the exact pattern, and it worked well for me. I'm an crease attackman.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
It had a pretty quick release. It was nice. I liked it.
I did actually use the Mark Matthews replica on a Evil Light X on my Dragonfly
With like the
during the
raw
winter.
mesh, right?
Yeah, I had Stringer Shack 20mm raw mesh, and I had the 4 straight, same exact replica, and I liked it a lot. It was very low whip, extremely accurate and consistent. Only problem was I couldn't face off with that head, and I just used it to kind of play around and shoot.
You know what? I've heard people kind of like that, like not like the international group, kind of like the Seller and Pure Grit Lacrosse, that Kiwi guy.
Where's Pure Grit from?
I'm actually no. Pure Grit isn't like he isn't from Canada. He's based in Buffalo, New York, I believe. But
He's
he's
USF.
like he is very like close with the Seller Metal Axe, and that Kiwi guy. So I just kind of like classify him into that group. But
yeah, they're all friends.
yeah, they all say that once Evo X's break in, that they're extremely good at X.
Really?
Really?
I don't know. I kind of double took.
I can see that with an Evo Light X, and I see that with an Evo X, because the plastic is really nice, like I said earlier.
I would say an Evo Light high school version would be great at the X. I faced off with a couple of guys that used it, and I saw it flexing pretty well. Personally, I wouldn't use it, because I have a NOS, but I probably will end up trying it again because it's not too wide, and the flare is pretty gradual, so there's not much of a problem there.
Yeah.
So I probably will give it a try at one point because Evo Lights are pretty cheap. I think they're like maybe $50-$60.
Oh, they're
most places. Yeah, they're dirt cheap.
Most places.
But like I said, it's the stringing that's always a problem. And they're very limited.
As long as you're a good stringer, I don't see why. I don't see how it could get like. I mean, like if you know your way around a lacrosse head, you shouldn't really have problems with I mean, I understand why, but I mean, you shouldn't really like
Oh, I mean for like the general public.
Yeah. But I mean, like you and Ethan and like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I could find my way around it.
I used a mid-low pocket Evo X for a really long time with East Coast mesh, and it had the low pocket pattern.
I want to be a part of it.
It had the mid-low pattern for it.
Lacrosse.
So my sister wants to talk about lacrosse, guys.
What are we talking about, guys? This is a head, and this is called mesh. And this is how you string it. What do you have?
It's fun stuff.
Why do you have 2 chargers?
That's for my iPod.
Anyway, keep talking.
So hi guys.
So
Why are there
anyway,
only
I
3
used
Some
people?
people asked.
Oh, you weren't entertaining enough?
okay.
No,
Did
these
you not want my laptop?
these are in the live stream. Other people are watching from
Oh, hi! Oh, damn.
because
Oh,
he's hosting, so I don't know.
Hello.
Wait, what time are you leaving?
I don't know. I was supposed to have practice, but I don't know if I actually have practice or not.
Yeah. Sorry guys.
All
This
right.
is a very interesting live stream, guys.
Yeah, it is.
I want to listen.
Ethan's just enjoying his French fries.
Damn, y'all look like 10 years old.
He's like 22.
They don't call me Fias for nothing.
They don't call you what? Is that
What?
really him? Please. Yeah?
What?
Yeah, this is really me.
Hold on. Are these your friends?
Yeah.
Hi, friends.
This is Nick Sadola.
This is
Hi,
great.
Nick Sadola.
Hi.
This is
What's her
this
name?
is Luke something. I
Luke
forgot Luke's last
Skywalker.
name. I forgot Luke's last name.
Ooh, I like his hair.
Flo.
Ethan Batoni.
Batani. He's Korean.
Batani. How are you Korean? Your last name is Batani.
Oh, he's like half Korean, half something.
Yeah.
I'm
don't bullshit
adopted.
With me. He ain't full
I'm
Korean.
full.
Is he? Are you adopted?
Yeah, I'm
Oh, that's
adopted,
cool.
but I'm
I
full.
wish I had a. I wish
He's
I had a
full.
tight last name.
You don't even look full Korean, Ethan.
You look Filipino. You look Filipino.
Okay, can you? All right, we
Wait,
were
why
having
did
a
it
great
say
live
Michigan?
stream until you came in.
Why does it say? No. Ew! We cannot be friends. You go to Michigan State.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we really can't be friends.
Okay, can I have my
What?
headphones back? Thank you. Don't worry about it, Ethan.
Hello.
Oh, hey.
Dude, they all need haircuts.
I know.
I have beautiful hair. Thank you.
Guys, what were we
Wait,
talking
so
about?
how do you know what questions you're asking you?
He can see it and he tells us. He's hosting.
Ethan, do we have any more questions right now?
Yeah. Do you think other companies might use some of Epic's
you're
ideas
right.
in the Hawk and apply them to their own products?
I feel like Warrior will probably
Yeah,
probably catch on to that because Brian is too focused.
I can definitely see a Hawk rip off.
Don't lock the door.
I feel like the only thing they're gonna take from it is like the Flex IQ idea.
Yeah, they're not going to
Change
copy
the
the face shape or anything.
That can really change a lot of things in lacrosse heads if you think about it.
Yeah, the thing that
Coming out in
confuses
the
me
winter,
is
I can see them inheriting some of that.
doesn't the Flex IQ go backwards now? Like usually, shouldn't it? Like on those shafts, 10 being the softest and 1 being the stiffest, and then now
Yeah,
on the heads.
I was a little confused by that because I know the 9 flex is the flexiest, but the 10 flex would be the stiffest on the Hawk.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense to me. So would you have to go just like different directions when you're getting your yeah, well, I mean, like that's only if you're using like an entire Epic stick. Like this right now is probably like
You know what? I think I know what they're doing.
what?
So I think Epic, what they want is when you have a flexible shaft, you don't want a flexible head. So what I'm thinking they're doing is that they're going on a 1 to 10 scale. So when you have an IQ 9 flex shaft, and then you put an IQ 1 flex head on it, you have a flexi shaft with a stiff head, and then that gives you
it just could
10.
be vice versa.
Yeah, and vice versa. You have a IQ 1 or IQ 5, and then you get an IQ 9 head. You have a stiff shaft with a flexible head, and that pretty much gives you the same thing, except your shaft isn't bending, but your head is bending, and vice versa. Your shaft is bending and your head is staying stiff. If you have a flexible shaft and a flexible head, you have problems.
Yeah, TJ just said
There's too much.
the lowest flex in hockey is the softest.
That's weird.
Yeah. Oh, whoops. Yeah, but the thing about the Hawk is, the 5 IQ might be like the best. Like on a shaft, like the X30 is a let me check. It is a 5 on the scale, and then the Hawk that just came out, obviously, is a 5 on the IQ scale. So isn't that just going to be like the best balance of like a flexi shaft or a flexi head?
Yeah, I think for the average player, like a midfielder and an attackman. But I mean, if you're going for a more, so who opened up the Hangout app? Was that you, Luke?
Didn't mean to. I clicked on the wrong thing. I meant to click Q&A.
But like I was saying,
There we go.
I think for people who want a more specialized, customizable head, they're going to go with the different selections of the stiffness, and that they're going to be going with the more flexible or the less flexible, more stiff. So when you can have a flexibility of like an Evo 4 versus a clutch, clutches are very flexible heads after you break them in. In fact, some of them are more flexible than the Nas. My Clutch Elite turned in probably like the most flexible head in the world. And I think those options are for people who are more customized. They want to go with an average.
Yeah,
stick.
like the thing about the Clutch Elite is my friend has one. Well, yeah, he has one because he's been using a Stallion for a while. And he like broke 3 Stallions, and then he got one, and he like knew better, so he used the Stallion for like a long time. Then he got a Clutch Elite, and he's been using the Clutch Elite. He got it like the beginning of summer, and it's like just now ending summer. And the Clutch Elite, it's so pinched, like
yeah, they
so
warp a lot.
unbelievably pinched. Like, yeah, I mean, like, I know some people use them for face-offs, but
I used to.
like, I mean, you could basically tie your shoes with it. It's
ridiculous.
It's
We got a good question here from Maple Wax.
What's up?
From Maple Wax.
What's up?
Do you think the Hawk is the step in the right direction in terms of returning back to the no offset design? Is there a noticeable
Okay, I'm coming.
feel in between
guys.
offset heads and the Hawk?
I have to head out. I'm going to the gym, so I will catch you guys later. But thanks for having me in the live stream.
All right, see it.
Later, guys.
So, to answer your question, Luke, we'll give like kind of in depth about it. Well, wait. The question I forgot what the question was. Was it a step in the right direction?
Open up the Q&A app. You can look at the questions.
Where is the Q&A app?
You should like hover over it. There's like a sidebar. It says Q&A.
Here. Let me see.
Oh, you have the iPad.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, just read the questions to me.
I got it.
When we get them. So okay. So I remember this one. So it's okay. So step in the right direction.
Yeah, in terms of returning back to no offset heads.
Well, actually, yeah, I'd say so. Because it's basically it's kind of like it's a step. It's just kind of letting us know where we came from, but like has still kind of like futuristic kind of stuff with it. So yeah, like no offset, obviously. Like
Yeah, there's not really a lot of heads anymore that come out that don't have an offset. Really, all I can think of are the Blade Pro and the Hawk.
yeah, like the Hawk, literally, it's really offset, like really offset. There's like maybe like a quarter of a millimeter of like where it dips down right here. But like if you look at your Hawk, Ethan, I don't know, I may be crazy, but
Let me
that's
check.
all I see.
It's a little bit. It's like right here, yeah.
Just a tiny bit. But then again, I mean, it has this crazy flare, and like not crazy flare, but it has that that modern high pinch shape like most heads do now. Like the CEO in a way right here, and then the Blade Pro obviously. Just yeah, basically that. But and then and it's utilizing a bunch of new technology. By far, I think Epic is the most like technologically advanced company on the market right now for
Yeah, I
lacrosse.
agree.
I don't know, that's just me. But, I mean, they also added this thing right here. Dylan refers to it as the grip zone. These lines right here, right on the scoop.
I feel like that's almost sort of a gimmick. Like, I don't want to say that, but
I don't know. I haven't really. I've physically thrown with it, but I didn't really go into the perspective of it having this um grip zone, if you will, according to Dylan. I
Ethan, how do
thought it
you
was.
like the scoop of the Hawk?
It's alright. I mean, I think it's not as ridiculous as some other heads I've seen. The one that comes to mind is the Surgeon 10500 that just came out. I think that scoop is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, that they weren't they just trying to reduce weight?
I actually enjoy it. I think it's interesting. It's different. Yeah, it's a little crazy. I don't know if you guys can see
Like,
that, but
yeah,
it's
wasn't
also
that right there, like that little
dips down underneath here. There's
yeah,
like
that little wouldn't that
a
just like kind of go like if you go for like a lazier scoop, if you will, wouldn't that just kind of make you trip over your stick?
I was talking about it before with Riley that it won't affect anything for people who do scoop the correct way because you are if you get your butt down, you get your low hand down as opposed to when you scoop, then it's not going to make a difference. For a deep pull, you're not going to have to get as low. In math terms, I mean you have a longer hypotenuse because your stick is longer, which creates a lower angle that your stick is at the ground. Which allows you to keep your stick at a higher angle when you're scooping rather than having to go at a shorter angle because you are using a 30-inch stick compared to like a 60.
Yeah,
But that being said, I actually enjoy it for another reason, and that is because I actually get to protect my leathers underneath here, my connections. It keeps it very protected because of that little bar that runs
and
across
yeah.
here on this side. I actually really enjoy it. I think it's different. I like it for traditionals because I don't get as much wear on the top of my leathers up here when I'm scooping the ball, which I enjoy.
Um, yeah. So I think maybe getting back to what Luke said about the scoop on the Hawk. This thing right here. We'll refer to it as the grip zone. I think maybe that they just tried to do the same thing as they did with the Surgeon 10500 was just cut out maybe just a little bit to reduce the weight, and then they just
Yeah,
kind
it's very
of
possible.
they just advertise it as a oh it's supposed to groove the ball so you can just kind of feel it come out and it'll come out the same way every time.
I mean, I
Um,
feel like for people that like the ball to lip off the top of the plastic, that could give a different feel.
yeah, I mean I'm not that type of person. I don't like it to lip off of the thing. I like it snappy. I mean I hate sticks when you throw them and you physically know the ball's out of your stick, but you can't feel it come out.
Yeah,
I don't really like that.
you like a snappier.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I'm kind of intrigued to see someone try to do an Iroquois top string with the Hawk.
I don't know. I mean, it could work. I, I feel that the pocket would just either be. Actually, I'm not sure. I feel because it's meant for mid high, and then the Iroquois, comes down to right about there, if I'm correct, right here.
Around that area, depends.
Yeah. And the pocket is supposed to be right here.
Yeah.
So if you're having an Iroquois that comes down to right here, and the pocket's supposed to be right there, you're gonna have an immediate pocket, or you're gonna have a pocket down here that's like illegal, or just doesn't have any pocket at all.
Yeah.
I definitely think that's an interesting thing to try.
Yeah,
But
I'm also I'm wanting to see because since it's been only out for a couple weeks, maybe even a week, the Hawk I want to see if it's prone to warping or if it's not very durable or
I think Ethan talked about this in his review of it, his flex test.
Yeah, I did a little bit. I don't see it. I don't see it being super warped after face-offs. I've taken about 25 face-offs so far with this head, And this is where it stands right now. It looks about new. The only thing is that when you do flex it really hard to a side, it stays bent to that side, but it doesn't get like warped in between the sidewalls. You just push it back the other way, and it's back to where it is, which I enjoy. And there is no fear of it coming in, which I think is kind of interesting too. I think it's a really well made head as far as like materials and durability of plastic, but it is kind of strange in the fact that you are playing with heads like that. I think we just lost Luke.
Oh. He might have just lost his connection. He's been kind of shaky.
Yeah. That's alright. I mean, we can probably wrap it up pretty soon anyways.
Yeah, so, he'll probably come back in a second. Basically, yeah, I don't know if it's because you, boiled yours, I'm pretty sure it is, but when I flex mine over like that, my Hawk doesn't get that warped to the side.
Yeah, that's because I boiled mine.
Yeah, here, let me text Luke and see what happened.
Yeah, but when I flex mine, mine's a lot easier to flex over that side than yours is, I think.
Yeah,
I don't put a lot of pressure to get down to like the.
Yeah, yours seems to flex a lot easier than mine. But then again, I didn't boil mine or anything. I just threw mesh on it and.
Right. Yeah, mine is boiled. All right. Well, actually, we're probably gonna wrap this up right now. I gotta go finish some stuff up. So I'll talk to you guys later. Anybody still watching? There's only a couple of you left, but thanks guys for sticking with us the entire time. Again, we had Chesapeake Stringing, Clearwater Customs, String Cannon. I think it's String Cannon, and Michigan String is me.
Yeah.
We're the ones talking to you guys, giving you guys some knowledge. Hope you guys enjoyed it, but we will talk to you guys later. All right, see you guys.
See you later.